Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. It's so exciting to be in your various lives at the moment. I want to welcome you to this wonderful episode. It's going to be powerful, it's going to be wonderful, it's going to be explosive. Can you just share this with everyone that you think might need this information? It takes understanding to stand in life. It takes understanding to be outstanding. Life is too short not to know what to do, especially when you have to go through the battles of life. I used to tell people that anytime life hits you, don't head it. It's madness. Don't chest it. It's blood pressure. You can walk over it. But you cannot walk over it if you are not aware, if you don't know what to do, you don't know what the battle looks like, you don't know how it's going to roll at the end of the day. Because sometimes when life hits you like that, some people, like I always say, that we react to pain differently. Some, when a car hits them, they shout, they yell. Some will run. You have to say, hold him, hold that, running. Some, welcome, waving everybody. Thank you for joining. Some will just be numb. Some will just be stiff. They are not moving, they are not doing anything. That's how it is. So when life hits us badly, sometimes we don't even know what to do. We don't know, where do I go from here? What next? I'm separated. I'm divorced. So my life should be stuck, or should I be permanently stuck? Or what next do I do? Do I go into relationship? Do I just stay like that? What will people say? People's opinion. Everybody is saying their own. Too many voices, a lot of noise all over the place, and yet you are alone in the crowd, very much alone. And that's why I said separated. Let's first of all look at the word separation. Now, let's be realistic. When we look into the scriptures, I'm a biblical person, and I will always refer to the tenet of my faith, which is the Bible. God hates divorce. Please get it clear. God did not actually sanction divorce. God had to make sure that the leadership of Moses used his discretion. I just pictured the scriptures today and I was meditating. I said, wow. Actually, before Moses could say, okay, separate for a while, you must have been hearing in the neighborhood, I'll break your head, I'll kill you, you are this, you are that, I'm mad at you, I will do this, I will do that. It was becoming an embarrassment to the environment, an embarrassment to the neighborhood, an embarrassment to religion. Thank you for joining. An embarrassment to religion. So everybody just said, okay, what do we do? So they went to Moses and they were asking him, what do we do? This one, look at the scar here, look at the mark of the teeth that is beaten. Some women bite their husbands, vice versa. So many funny things that was going to be happening. And Moses just used his common sense. He said, well, for a while, separate, just go your ways. It's better to be separated than to be separated in the grave. And when you are dead, there's no need to be talking or saying anything, because a dead person does not go to the lawsuit. So he just told them, he said, before you kill each other, right in my eyes as your leader, separate for a while. So we should understand that God is not the originator of divorce. God hates divorce. He never wanted it from the beginning. He wanted 1 + 1 to be 1. He wanted them to be united. He wanted them to work as a team, because it's a teamwork that makes the dream to work. He wanted he wanted a synergy, oneness. The Bible even says that it's not good to be you can't be warm alone. You need another person to warm you up. But when a lot of things are happening and they could not manage it, they had to ask for separation for a while. Now, the issue of separation is very, very comprehensive. The word separation is highly comprehensive, and I really need to break it down for people to understand. Now, why do we separate? We separate when there is a physical abuse, when there is violence, sometimes when there's so much mental, emotional, psychological abuse. I'm saying mental because a lot of people have been abused mentally, emotionally, psychologically, physically, and the whole world, they lay a lot of emphasis on physical abuse. And because emotional abuse does not show scars, mental abuse is not visible, psychological abuse is not visible. So it becomes a thing of, shebi is just abusing you, what's the problem? Shebi is just talking to you, what is the issue? You don't have to let it get to you. Excuse me, emotional abuse have sent some people to early grave. Some people have lost their minds. Like I said last week, I was talking about, raising your kids, not being sexually wise as parents. And I said something. I said a lot of women, maybe in another meeting, I can't remember now, some women actually tell their family or somebody close to them to take them to a mental home just to have rest because of the depth of emotional abuse, the psychological abuse, the mental abuse, the verbal abuse. They will just go to a mental home. Somebody told me, confirmed it. Because that's the only place where a man will not go and look for his prey, his wife. Say, just check me into a mental home. I need to be sane. So when the doctor comes in and start questioning them, clacking them, asking questions, they just say they don't want to go home. Please, don't let me go home. And physically, there's no scar. There's no physical beating that shows that this person is being abused. So when there's a mental abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse, psychological abuse, there's need for separation. Now, separation means we want to drift a little bit and evaluate our relationship and ask ourselves simple questions. Can we make things happen? Can we work it out? Now, listen to me very, very carefully. If you are in a relationship and you felt, let me just give myself a break so that I will not break. Now, that is a part of separation. A break, not to break. Now, that break does not give liberty for sin. Liberty for, you are not divorced, you are separated. Now, when that happens between you and your spouse, it's very simple. Get a professional help. When your relationship deteriorates to a level of having to separate, there's no way you can come back together if that issue or those issues that have brought you to split is addressed. Until those issues are intentionally, deliberately addressed in that relationship, it's not possible for everything to be normal. It's so painful that we are living in a world where people don't sincerely respect the fact that they need to be helped. They need a counselor. They need a therapist. They need a professional. People just assume what will be will be. You've gotten to a place you are not thinking of your children again. You are not thinking of any other thing. And all you wanted was, let's just go. Let's go miles apart. Let's separate. Let's go our different ways. The moment you get to that particular place, now a lot of couples, they've gone through that particular place severally. A place where I'm done today, leave tomorrow, let's go separate ways next tomorrow. Okay, you do that for 3 months, you come back, the thing happens again. You are now going around in circle of, like, being in an emotional roller coaster, because nothing is happening, nothing has happened, nothing has changed. So when you are separated, can I appeal to everyone here hearing the sound of my voice? The moment there's a separation, that doesn't mean that you're going to end up divorcing or going into divorce, but at least seek help. Seek a professional help. I'm a therapist, I'm a counselor. Let's talk about it. The moment you are able to resolve to go to see a counselor, to go and see a therapist. Some of us need to do anger management. Some is just, having to be reorientated, garbage in and garbage out. Understand that this person that is living this kind of life needs help. Not just because the person wants to continue to hurt his or her spouse, but something is wrong somewhere. The work of a professional, the work of a therapist is to check what's going on here. Why are these people not just connecting? Why this consistent fight? What is going on? It could be infidelity, it could be anger, it could be rage, it could be violence, it could be verbal abuse, like I said. Before your husband says one, you have said 25. Before your wife says one is a slap or a word that will send her not to sleep for 3 days and all of that. That is the work of a professional. That is what a counselor would do. That is what a therapist would do. They will make sure that they find out what is the root cause of this. Now, if the two, now this is where the issue is. If the two of you are willing to go through the process of reconciliation, coming back. Now, don't say that if the other person is still comfortable with his lifestyle, is still doing, he or she, you know. Now, the issue of being separated, divorced, what next, has nothing to do with male or, it's not gender based. I've seen men that are done. Whatever anybody wants to do or say in making them to come together, they are not really ready. The effort is not there to make things work. I'm going to flood that a little more and break it down. Now, I'm just saying that if there's separation, you guys have said, okay, let's go our separate ways. Let's go and rethink. You know, sometimes separation can even be a wake-up call. The moment you notice that your spouse is gone, your wife is gone, your husband is gone, wow, it means I'm going to lose my home. Now, let me digress here. If you are listening to me today and you are being abused, mentally, emotionally, physically, sexually, verbally, please don't ever think, oh, because of my children, I will wait. No. It doesn't work that way. A child that is raised from a dysfunctional home, the moment you and your husband are engaged in a constant fight, your kids are damaged already. Send them to the best university in the world. Send them to Harvard. They are damaged. When a child sees violence, that child is mentally, emotionally, psychologically damaged. Now, X-ray does not show emotional wounds. So you may not know. The child can actually go to school and become the best doctor, the best banker, the best lawyer, an accountant, but that does not mean that that child is emotionally sound. So can we just leave children out of this and let's focus on our relationship? Take it or leave it. Where two elephants fight is the grass that suffers. And I say it, you know, I was just looking at the picture of two elephants fighting, and I made a statement that resonated in me. I said, the grass may not only suffer, the grass may die. The children may die. When I talk about death, some have died physically. I was somewhere in the US, and I met a beautiful, pretty girl on a wheelchair. So after my preaching, she came to the pastor's office to see me. True people, true story, life story. And I didn't even know why. I asked her, why? What happened? You're in a wheelchair. What happened? And she said, of course, she was healed. She had processed her pain. She has done therapy and all of that. She said, Ma, you know what happened? When I was 6 months, my dad and my mom were fighting. And they got into physical fight. And my dad threw my mom off the stairs. And she was carrying me. That was why I lost my both feet. Now, don't say wow. Yes, it could be wow. But the point is, a lot of our children, when husband and wife fight, when two elephants fight, those children are definitely on a wheelchair. Mentally, emotionally, psychologically, physically. Because take it or leave it, the children in that family or your kids, when they see such things, it affects them. It affects them in their choices of relationships. It affects them in settling down in life because they came into your family blank and you have given them a picture that this is how marriage should be. This is how husband and wife should behave. And that is not it. So thinking about your kids for staying in an abusive relationship is no, and go no. The best thing is to seek help. Please seek help. Get a professional help. Don't assume. Thank you for thanking me. Thank you for joining. I celebrate every one of you for watching and listening. Now listen, the moment you made a decision to excuse yourself, honestly, like I said, it could be a wake-up call to someone that is willing to change. You see, when we talk now, let me quickly tell everyone, if you are not married here, you should be throwing parties, because I'm going to be telling you things that would change your life, reorientate you, do everything to work on your relationships. Because listen to me, you can't actually choose the best person you want for your life now that you are single. And listen, the black flags are there. There is no man, there is no woman that notices anything after marriage that those signs were not there. You just ignored it because you are in love. You shut that part of you that cautioned you, that put you to check. Okay, let's assume you are both born again Christians and the guy is touching you, wanting to have sex with you in courtship. Is a red flag. You are going out, he gets angry, abuses everybody on the roadside, say things that were not really comfortable. They are red flags. He's stingy. He can't give you 1 penny. Okay, you pay all the bills. You know, some people are funny. I said children because they are actually children. You're going to get married. The person you are getting married to, he's not even lifting fingers. He's not buying anything. You are the one doing everything. Can you imagine? You bought the wedding dress, you did the wedding cake, you paid for the hall, paid for reception, did this, bought his suit. Excuse me. Vice versa. It could be from the man too. The girl is not doing anything. I agree that she's a student, but she has families. Don't let me take myself outside this, order of separated, because it's very important. No, separation for a while could actually help. When you are separated, like I said, the person or the people in question must seek help. The moment one person is not ready to see a counselor, hold on. Now, it's very simple. If you are sick, I tell people when people are ill, they go to chemists, because they don't want the stress of going into a teaching hospital where, they have to see a doctor, do tests, do saliva tests for headache, do blood tests for headache, do everything. They will give you like 10, 15 tests to do if you go to a teaching hospital. So you want to quickly rush to a chemist and take paracetamol for headache. But the point is, if the root of that sickness, of that headache, is not uprooted, you are still going to be having headache. So what you are doing with your analgesic or the paracetamol you're using is to repress and give, your headache a time to come up again. But if you really want to get rid of this and you want it solved, that's why I'm saying that when there's separation, there is need for separation for you not to kill each other mentally, emotionally, physically, psychologically. Is necessary. But at the end of the day, you cannot keep using the same method. Oh, I've left today, I'll come back tomorrow. I'm leaving tomorrow, I come back tomorrow. Can you just seek help and do the needful? The needful has to do with the help of a professional, someone that is not prejudiced, someone that is not going to be on your side. I'm talking about a professional, not people that are sentimental. Can I say this to some of us today? Some of us that are married to men, especially when you are in a difficult relationship, maybe the man is a narcissist. Some of you have to go online and check the meaning of a narcissist, a sociopath, a psychopath, or a husband or a wife that has bipolar disorder. These are mental issues, mental cases that people don't see. They don't even know. Even the person in question, a narcissist, is not even aware that he has a mental issue. That's a serious one. And what changes a man is awareness, insight. Oh, I'm wrong. There are people, they never saw anything they've done wrong. They were never wrong. Nothing is wrong to them. Nothing is wrong with them. Nothing is wrong about them. Nothing is wrong about their attitude. They keep pointing fingers. They keep giving alibi. They keep giving excuses for whatever it is that has happened to them or is happening to them. Such people, you need a professional help to get back if you have left that relationship. Why? Because the abuse will continue. The insult will continue. The humiliations will continue. The abuse will continue. Seek help. Now, if the person is not ready to seek help, hold on. hold on. Hold on. I intentionally say hold on. I'm intentionally saying hold on. I'm saying hold on because your life is more important than the marriage. The moment you are losing it, we all have a case of Minister Osinachi. Do you know, as powerful as that woman is, I tried to check her out. Maybe her music are on iTunes, you know, getting to be paid dollars because of her beautiful voice. I just saw one albums. You remember the man that one of the guy that owns the studio said one day they were at the studio trying to record and the man gave her a slap. Now, the point is, can you flourish? Can you prosper? Can you become what you are destined to be? You know how many women, how many men, their ministry, their vision, their businesses has been truncated because they married a wrong person. They married a narcissist. You look at the potentials, you look at what they are loaded with, you look at what they have done. That's why the fact that they are living under the siege of an abusive man. And you are wondering if this person had the privilege of getting out, separated from this man, he would have done better. Can I say this here? When people are divorced or separated, church stigmatizes them. You are not good again. Heaven is closed over you. God is not happy with you. God cannot use you. You are not okay. I have a request. I'm going to pick those requests. I just needed to take, I'll take those questions. Then I just needed to lay this foundation. Then when we start asking questions, it's going to be easy for me to answer more. Now, the problem of the church, of religion. Now, let's even look into the scriptures. I've talked about Moses. No, I've not talked about Moses. Do you know that Moses and his wife had to separate for a while? Because the man wanted to do circumcision. And the wife said, you're a bloody husband. That's why I said it has nothing to do with gender. Please, abuse is not gender-based. Men abuse women, women abuse men. God actually came to Moses from eyeball to eyeball. Clear word. You have to circumcise. And the woman said, no, you are not cutting the skin of my son. What's wrong with you? Who knows the God? This God that you are calling. Which God? Where is the God that has called you and all of that? And the man didn't have a choice. He had to cut the knife. He took the knife and did the circumcision. As Zipporah said, you're a bloody husband to me. That was the end. She actually packed her 2 boys and her father-in-law took them away. Do you know they came back but they have not reconciled? I'm going to build on that. When there's a separation, there must be reconciliation. The moment there's no platform for reconciliation, hold on. Hold on. Because you agree with me, if you are not careful, your life will be going round in circle. You are just moving around. You are not making progress. You are not going backward and not going forward. And listen to me. Forget what anybody will say. He that wears the shoes knows where it hurts. Please stop listening to the voice of your opposition. You will lose your position. I wish Minister Osinachi had left at the right time. She won't be in the grave now. And you see what people are judging her. It's her fault. She didn't tell us. We didn't know. Blah, blah, blah. She told us not to tell anybody. She was begging. He will change. She's gone. She's gone. I don't think it's the will of God for her to die at that age. The Bible says with long life will it satisfy us. That is not a godly death. That was a death that was not called for. If you want me to start asking questions, let's go quickly to questions because I know, okay, this person, I accept she wants to ask a question. Let me allow her to ask. Go live with her so that we can quickly get into business. There's so much to talk about today and I've done with 25 minutes already. Wow. Well, where are you, sister? Where is she? I thought you were coming live. That's on Instagram. Okay. If you want to come, okay, or you want to ask your question, please write it down. I will address them. Now, because we are wired differently, we came from different background. I should have told us the background of separation and divorce and all of that. But please, I'm using this opportunity to tell every woman that will be watching this today, thank you for watching, thank you for watching. Now get it clear, it is not anybody's business when they have not gone into the depth of your pain, of the things you have been through in that marriage. I've seen people that are married and in their 30, 25, 10 years of marriage, they've counted over 35 women that their husband has slept with, not kiss, not lust, but I'm talking about sexual activities in the marriage. Now, some people that are reacting to you, they cannot even take one. Can I explain this to you? Do you know what infidelity does to a woman or a man? For a man, it's something else. For a woman, it's something else. But because of the way we are wired in Africa, where is a man, it's not manly, it's ungodly for you to have an extramarital relationship outside your marriage. Not only that, you are counting numbers. One heart, one person, one relationship. At the end of the day, the person in question is not ready to go through the normal process of recovery. Then hold on. Hold on. If you can be graced by God to keep yourself, keep your dignity, keep your body, you are not particular about having sex, good job. Hold on to yourself, hold on to your work, give God your best shot. And please, let me say this to everyone that is listening to the sound of my voice today. Don't ever conclude until you have found out. The Bible even says that find out the truth, find out everything, and hold on to that which is the truth. When you hold on to that which is the truth, and you are not baited into manipulation, can I say this to everyone listening to me today? An addict, people that are abusive in any relationship, they are highly manipulative. You have to be sensitive to that. Do you remember the case of those two, the children of Osinachi? The children actually saw a picture of their dad having gotten wedded to another woman somewhere, and the boy could not talk because the boy will ask. The pastor said it. These are the when I talk with a lot of facts. I don't like mixing words. Do you know? The pastor said, anytime they go to church and the pastor calling to greet the children, the man will ask them, "What did you tell pastor?" Meaning that every narcissist, by the reason of that man's story and everything that happened in that marriage, the man is a narcissist. He has a personality disorder. And people like that, they have lieutenants. When they discuss their marriage with somebody else, you will not be sold or bought for 1 penny. Don't be carried away. And that's why in my language, another says that the person that hear one side of the story and judge is a wicked elder. Maybe I should speak Yoruba so that you understand. If you are not, why would they say agba? Okay, elder that is wicked. Very interesting. The moment you hear a side of the story, please take time to verify and find out and hold on to that which is the truth. Because if you are taking sides, number one is wickedness. Number two, you are not doing the thing that Jesus would do. You are not doing it rightly. And at the end of the day, you are hurting another brother, another sister of yours. So take time to find out why this, what happened. Now, by the time you are able to get the facts on the table, I'm expecting your questions. Please ask me any question. I'm fully prepared for this. Let's get to business. I've separated, divorce, what next? Now, the issue of having to find out, because listen, when you are relating with a personality disorder, a narcissist, a sociopath, a psychopath, a bipolar disordered husband or wife, one thing is common. They are very manipulative, and they have lieutenants. They whip people's sentiments and emotions. They cry like babies. They say things. They paint the whole picture. But if you listen to them very well, everything has to do with I, me, and myself. It has nothing to do with, can you just think about the rest? Now, what about adultery? I heard a person that has slept around multiple times telling his wife that, I have a weakness of women, and you are bringing women to my house. Excuse me. And this person is supposed to be a pastor. Now, must a policeman steal? If I take £1,000 or dollars and keep it somewhere, and a policeman has to watch over it, must he steal it? Is that not temptation? Now, the painful part of these people, that's why I said separated, pause. The painful part of these people, please go online yourself. We are living in a global village. Nobody is an island of information. Go to your phone, check what the meaning of a narcissist. Check them out. They cannot change. There's nobody God cannot change. What changes a man is inside. What happened to the prodigal son? He discovered that he was working in a pig farm, and he was still taking the money from a pig farm to the prostitutes, spending the money carelessly, lavishly, riotously, and one day he had an hangover. He couldn't eat with the pig. He couldn't eat the pig's food. Probably it was finished or something. He could not get money enough. He didn't have enough money to eat with the pigs, and he had to be eating the pig's food. And he said, no, enough. I'm going home. Whatever happens. That's what changes a man inside. Inside. So a narcissist cannot change because they don't believe, they don't agree, they have not have enough insight to know that they are wrong. So what would you do to someone who is still giving alibi, excuses for his acting out? Why did you do that? Why did you put the money there? Why did you allow me to be sleeping around? And the question is, if you are a policeman, if you have chosen a vocation that has to do with secrecy, that has to do with integrity, that has to do with holiness, and you are not living it, then it's becoming a paradox. Thank you so much. It's becoming a paradox. Now, the moment you are confusing people around you, that is when the person around you will know that this is a time to separate. Now, divorce. Now, separation can actually lead to divorce. It's not impossible. You know why? One thing is sure, if the person is not ready to go and treat himself. Now, as a believer, let me say this to you. The Bible says if your non-believing wife or husband tells you it's done, you are free to leave. You are free to leave. Another platform for divorce or separation is adultery, infidelity. Now, when it comes to infidelity, forgiveness is possible. I've seen women, I've handled hundreds of women and men that have been separated because the husband committed adultery, and today they are together. Why? Because two of them were penitent. The person in question apologized. He was ready to be transparent. She was ready to be transparent. I have a particular woman, she actually committed adultery multiple times, and her husband caught her in the very act. Today, they are happily married. This is not a story. Fact. They were so happy now that, the woman was broken. She left all her password, her phones. She's not on any private chat with anybody. She was ready to live a transparent life. And the husband has a heart to forgive. But what about a situation where which the person in question is not ready to take responsibility? He keeps giving excuses. You don't want to destroy yourself. You don't want to be home and say, okay, let me go back for what people will say because of religion, because of tradition. And at the end of the day, you are giving HIV. How do you handle that? Because the moment there is infidelity, one thing is sure, trust is violated. Trust is no more. I said it in one of my episodes. If I'm sitting on a chair now in my study, in my office, and if this chair falls me down and they flew the chair back to the source, maybe it was bought in the US or somewhere, a standard, shop where they sell furniture and all of that, and they flew it down to the place, bought the tickets, did the way bill and all of that, brought it back to me to sit on. I will check that chair if it's not going to make me to fall down before I choose to sit down. When there's a problem, when there's something to do with infidelity, when there's infidelity in a relationship, please, if you want me to call you, let me know on time so that we can take any question. Please be comfortable to ask me any question. There's no question in this line that I will not want to answer you. It's a long topic and it's very comprehensive, and I don't want to keep rushing. Now, when trust is abused or violated in marriage, trust has to be built back after infidelity. I told you two platforms: physical abuse, infidelity, separation is important. If death is going to be involved, I told you the reason why Moses gave the law, God did not say anything when he gave the law, and that was when they asked Jesus. Somebody was telling me recently about tithing. He said, well, Jesus was silent about tithing because it wasn't a controversial problem. The one that was controversial was divorce, fornication, and adultery, and Jesus flogged it in the New Testament. So for the fact that Jesus was quiet about tithing, that does not mean that it's not biblical. The olden days believer, the believers in the olden days, I'm digressing now, don't mind me, you know, they were not really having issues with their tithe because they believe in first fruits, they believe in their tithing, so they don't have to bother themselves about who gave tithe or who did not give. But that was why when Jesus was even saying they gave tithes, it confirmed they gave. It wasn't a controversial issue. It wasn't something that has to do with life. But the issue that has to do with life, fornication, adultery, infidelity, whatever it is that has to do with things that is affecting the system, Jesus intentionally, deliberately addressed those issues. So if you are not saying, oh, Jesus is quiet about some things, Jesus was never quiet about the issue of divorce. He said that Moses gave the law. It wasn't that God consented to it. It wasn't that God was happy about it, but he gave his consent because of the hardness of their heart. Probably those people he was reaching out to there, some of them were able to reconcile after separation. Some of them were narcissists. They didn't have insight. And when you marry a man like that, you better know. Check it online. Listen, the reason why God gave us brain is so that I can rest. The reason why science is there is to prove a lot of things. I've told people now, if you are listening to me, you're single and you're about to be married, or you know any single lady that is about to be married, tell them to do personality assessment test, compatibility test. It is scientifically proven. Even if you are led, oh, I appreciate the fact that God is leading you. Can you just go a little further to be sure, especially when you are noticing some black flags? When you notice that this person in question is, you are not really comfortable, you are not having peace, there's so much fight, there's so much, your spirit is roughened, there's this unrestfulness in your soul, your heart is troubled, go deeper, a little deeper. Because by the time you get into it, you'll be stigmatized, and church will not invite you. They will not look at you with a good eye. But the time you are saying, no, I can't take it anymore, I'm done, it's enough. You cannot be in a marriage relationship and your husband is sleeping around, your wife is sleeping around, and you think you are such a wool, or you don't have a feeling, or he's beating you. Then you want to stay there. Don't stay there. Please be separated. Don't die. I wish, honestly, Minister Osinachi had actually left for a while. Probably all the secret would have still come to the open. I mean, the pastor would have done his investigation. But for you to be in a church and your kids are going to greet the pastor and is asking, and that is the nature of a narcissist. A narcissist will assume that everything about you, about them, is being said in public. As a matter of fact, they'll say you have told somebody, you have discussed with somebody, you have done something. Those are we call it gaslighting. They gaslight you. They make you to think you are not normal. They make you look at yourself as not, you are asking yourself, am I green? They made you, you live a life with them as if you are yellow when you are green. And they made you believe that you are green, you are not yellow. They torture you. They play mind games. They mess up your mind. Do I have a question? People are not asking questions. It's Q&A. Please ask me questions. I'm ready to listen to your questions and answer them. Please question, or you can write it and let me address it. Now, God hates divorce, but he loves a divorcee. For the fact that you are separated does not stop you from fulfilling destiny. Just make sure you let go. Can I say this again in digression? There's no price that is too high to pay. I'm paying to make sure that your home is kept and preserved. Please, I will say that again and again. Mommy, gaslighting, yes, they gaslight people. They make you think as if you are not normal. They change you. They turn your head upside down. You are asking yourself about who you are. You will lose your identity relating with them. You have a, maybe you did something and it was a gallant slide. You just did something, they'll pull it down, make it sound little. What are you doing? Even if you are feeding them, you are clothing them, you are doing everything for them, the next thing is, what are you doing? You will do it and still talk about it. You will do it and gossip me. You will do it and tell people. If you are grateful for what is done, it will not be, he or she will not be telling everybody that he or she is the one doing everything. What next? Move on. After separation, if the person is not ready to change, is not ready to be mentored, is not ready to be nurtured, is not ready to be confronted with the vices, it could be verbal abuse. Please, I want to encourage you to listen to She Matters on Sunday. As a matter of fact, I've never seen such a thing before in my life. And I'm going to play the audio for you to listen to. Listen to human being. Listen to how people live. See, look at how somebody is talking. I wasn't raised to, I'm going to, Mom, is it good to separate because of in-laws? Well, I'm going to talk next week about toxic in-laws. You are very, very prophetic. The person asking me that question, I'm going to be talking about toxic in-laws. That is my next topic after this. Separated, divorced, what next? The next one I'm handling, by the grace of God, next week, Wednesday, is toxic in-laws. So please hold on. We address that later. A narcissist can never change. Check online. You see, like I told us, we are living in a global village. There's nothing new under the sun. Get online, check for the word narcissist, check the characteristics of a narcissist, check if they can change. They cannot change. If you are out of their lives, be out for good. They will keep hurting you till you die. You know why it's like that? When a narcissist makes you miserable, that is the time they are happy. Their anger is, when they get angry, maybe I will talk about it some of these days. When they are angry, their anger is like having oxygen. It's like they are breathing in oxygen. When they make you miserable, then they are happy. They are not happy if you are happy. They will throw a party for you. They will still make you miserable attending that party. It's very, very unfortunate. It's a mental illness. Now, we now have people that are narcissists and they are also addicts. Now, you can imagine living with such a man or a woman who is a narcissist, who is also sexually perverse. That's a bad place to be. Very, very bad place to be. And most of the narcissists, there's a little bit of infidelity, and they are not straight and they lie. Oh my God. If a narcissist tells you good morning is good midnight, please check your time, whether it's a day or the night. They lie to cover up, and they pretend a lot, and they have fake tears. They can be tearful in lies. No, you don't even want to live with them. Thank you. Now, send it your okay to be okay. Somebody wants to go live with. I am okay. There's a lady here. I want to go live with her. Let's see. That will be on Instagram. Yes, I'm expecting to have you. They can lie for England. Yes, though they are like British weather. You can't predict. Afternoon, Sister Queen. Good afternoon. How are you? Thank you for joining. Hi, darling. You're welcome. So good to see you. Your question. Let's take questions. Let's bomb me with questions. Thank you.
Okay, ma.
So good to see you now. Yes, your question. I'll take. Yes, I'll write it. Just ask your question.
Hello, can you see me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can't see you properly. Oh dear, we lost that. Well, I didn't see you properly. Maybe you should leave your room or something. Let me try and get you back. Okay. He rendered her. Okay, let me see. A friend asked this. Her husband abuses her at every little thing, referring to the help he rendered to her and her family at a time that if not for him, her family would have died in poverty. Yes, that person has a personality disorder. It might not be, that's why it's always good to get a professional help. I'm just giving you, talk about narcissist, sociopath, psychopath. The person might even have a bipolar problem. I've seen someone that wrote that is a family poverty elevated in-law. because he has the privilege to help the family. Now, that is called a verbal abuse. That now try, one thing about a personality disordered person is they are not likely to want to seek help, because they don't even have mentors. Everybody's their colleague, their mates. Because if you have someone that would caution you in life, it goes a long way to help you. There's no perfect human being anywhere rather, pardon me. Now the Bible says iron sharpeneth iron. A friend will sharpen the countenance of his friend. Elijah said, my father, my father. When people don't have mentors in their lives, they don't have people, such narcissists does not even have anybody that will say no. If you've been listening to Moment to Ponder, I've been talking about protege and mentoring. One of the things your mentor will do, he will confront your weaknesses. Your friend will be comfortable with your weaknesses, but your mentor will never be comfortable with your weaknesses. So such people don't have anybody to confront them. So this is verbally abusive, and it can be very painful. Now a verbal abuse, or someone that is being verbally abused, is the pain is so excruciating than being physically abused. Let me explain that to you in a while. If your love language is words, we speak different love languages. Some is words of affirmation, some is quality time, some is giving of gift, some is physical touch, and some is physical touch, words of affirmation, giving of gifts, act of service. I think I've mentioned the 5 love languages. Now, if your love language is words of affirmation, and you are married to a man or a woman that words you down, that pull you down and say things to you, is worse than being beaten with scars. Is worse than being daggered with knife. That person is dying, because what gets to her? If your husband is saying that is the one that is a poverty stricken in-law, poverty elevation in-law, it's okay. If your love language has nothing to do with words, if your love language has to do with words, you want to get out of that marriage as soon as yesterday because of that statement. You want to get out because it's killing you, it's shredding your feelings, is giving you dagger in different parts of your body. That is how you feel. So one woman had to separate with her husband because of words. And the man is still saying, because he has a mental issue, he said, what is he? I will abuse you. If I abuse you, what is in abuse? Hey? What is in abuse? To someone that what gets to. Can I say this to all our listeners today? God does not want you to be abused in any way. It's not the will of God for anybody. God will protect you with everything. He even came to bind up the brokenhearted. He said, come to me, all you that labor and heavily weight, I will give you ease. I will release your burden. Jesus came to release our burdens. He's not supposed to be, we are not supposed to be in a relationship that will give us burden, that will make us miserable. I've seen women that have attempted suicide multiple times in the name of I'm married. There's a lady that actually poisoned herself, poisoned her husband, poisoned her children, 4 of them. At 2 a.m. I have to leave my house to the hospital. Thank God they came back to life. I look for an ambulance. In my life, I've seen any relationship that is giving you stress. That's why I'm appealing to every woman at the sound of my voice. The Women College of Ministry, we are resuming this Saturday. Don't miss it for anything. Now, I'm talking about separated, divorced. What next? You don't even know the root. Why were you married to that man to start with? You don't even know. Why were you attracted to that woman to start with? We don't know. These are the foundational issues we address at the School of Ministry. And when we address those issues, we allow you to heal. We take women through healing process. When I resume schools like that, we have tissue papers in the class. Come and see tears. And from that junction, they begin to get healed. They get restored. They start a life. The Women College of Ministry is not for you to go to Bible school. No, it's not a Bible school. It's a school of life. You deal with issues that are naughty, KNOWTY in your life, and you discovered life. You find life. I see my women, when they come for the school of ministry, some of them are walking as if they have a hunchback. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. A week after, everybody is walking straight. And I'm wondering, what did I do to you, these guys? To you guys, what I did was to give them insight. It takes understanding to stand. It takes understanding to be outstanding. If you cannot know better, you cannot live better. Ignorance is demonic. The reason why you are even married to that man, to that woman to start with, the reason why your life is like this, those are the things we address at the school of ministry. We let people know the root. My nickname is trace it, face it, erase it, and start replacing it. It's not every woman that will be attracted to a man that you will have to separate yourself from or divorce at the end of the day. Sometimes, all of the time, most of the time, in all the times, it is your background, your parental upbringing that brings you to that place. And when you get to that place, what happens? You are helpless. This man that is saying that the family would have died in poverty because he was the one that helped them. You see what I'm saying? It's the family system. And when somebody says that to you, and what gets to you is killing. If now somebody will say, why do you want to separate? All in the name of is abusing you. Who told you? There's a limit to what you can take. That's the truth. That's what the Bible says. Let your word be seasoned with salt and grace, so that I can minister grace to the hearers. Ask yourself, is it graceful? Hold your breath, bite your tongue. When you want to, and you know, some people, because they have mental issue, they will say it and expect you not to talk about it. Please, I need to take a lot of questions. A lot of questions is Q&A. Rubbish. He nags too much, even beats, and wow. When you see a man that beats you, please excuse yourself first. Don't die as Minister Osinachi. Now, the challenge I have is, even if you want to go, one of my books, let me introduce it to you again. The new book I've just published, Take Your Life Back After Many Years of Abuse. Unveiling the Veil of Relationship Vampires. I'll get it and show you now. It's a new book I just published. Now, for a woman that wants to leave, it might be difficult if you are not financially comfortable. Like this woman, Minister Osinachi, she had 4 children. I'm sure she wants to think, where do I go with these kids? But I said it at the beginning, where do I go with these kids does not make the kids okay. Like, look at one of his sons. He said, our daddy said, or his daddy said, it's good to beat a woman. Can that boy be a good boy? Could he be a good husband? Be a good father of children? This is my book. Enough. Take your life back after many years of abuse. You can send me a text message, a DM, and I will get it across to you. It's a new book, How to Take Your Life Back After Many Years of Abuse. There's so much in this book, highly rich. It's very rich. I said highly, I wanted to say it's highly comprehensive, and of course, it's extremely rich. How many pages it is? About 205 pages. Amazing book. A lot of people have been taking it and they have been glad they were glad they did. Don't mind me. So what I'm saying in essence is very clear. What next? The next thing is, get yourself, if you're going to exit a relationship that is toxic, you want to separate, get a solid support system. Anybody that marries a man like that, if you watch one of my episodes, Enabling or Codependency No More, any woman, any man that is married to a person that is abusive is also an enabler. You would have allowed it for a very long time. You need a very strong, solid support system to help you to get out, unruffled and unscruffled. To get out, you need to be out, especially when there is a physical abuse. People see more of physical abuse. It's very painful that people don't even know that emotional abuse and verbal abuse, mental abuse, sexual abuse, psychological abuse is worse than physical abuse. But because people don't see, but when you seek help and you get a professional to talk to you, the person will help you and explain what is going on to you. Yes, another question. I'm trying to look for people asking. I'm ready.